Okay, welcome to All Things Music. It is Saturday, so we are going to get into today's topic, which is about self-destructive things that musicians do that impact their longevity in the business. As usual, I have five, and we will count down from number five to one this time. So, number five is people spread themselves too thin. They make too many promises. They book too many events, gigs. They make too many commitments and they get overwhelmed, oftentimes having to back out. And this causes problems for them in the long run. Number four, bad attitudes, online presence. I combine this. A lot of times people look at your social media, and if you are always putting other people down or yourself, or you just have an overall, just a nasty spirit or a very negative attitude, that really can turn people off from wanting to check out your music. You don't want to put other people down. You know, put a positive thing out there. Even people like Typo Negative. I mean, that was their whole thing was about being negative, but at the same time, like they were nice people, and they put out a page that was comical. You know, Pete himself was a humorous guy. He loved to laugh. So you don't have to be like a jerk, for lack of a better word. Just be cool to people. And if somebody doesn't treat you the same way, you just don't worry about them. There's a lot of people out there. Number three, releasing too much. We don't have to release everything that we write. Sometimes it's best not to give everything away. Number one, you want to leave people wanting more and to hear more. Number two, by not just giving everything away, you have something then that you can still sell. So that helps because you can sell tracks that you don't just hand to people. Remember, musicians also have to eat and put gas in their car and have rent money and stuff like that. So, number two is about when you are first getting to where you want to get out there and promote yourself, putting out a bad quality recording. Most phones now will do pretty good recordings. We recorded some of the shows that I played with Black Death in St. Louis, and the recordings were pretty good actually. And that was done on a cheap phone, a cheap cell phone. It wasn't even a fancy phone. We recorded 2 CDs in Murray and in-house, and spent only like $500 for recording equipment and CDs and inserts. So you really don't have to have like a lot to do a good job. You know, back in the day we had our pocket tape recorder, and you'd hand those recordings out and they just were not great. So don't put out a bad quality recording or song. I combine that into this. You know, I was playing just a little bit ago, and you know, if you go back throughout from the 50s on, there's a lot of songs that are like hits, like big, really memorable songs, and they only used like 2, 3 chords. I was jamming a 50s thing just a minute ago and using C, A, D, and G, and you know it's that whole dun 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 dun. It's that, you know, that 50s Sha Na Na kind of thing. You know, a lot of the songs that I play, like Social Distortion, even the Ramones. Although the Ramones, they had a little more to them, but they use like 2 chords, 3 chords, and it repeats. And The Cure, and there's so many bands out there that just use a couple chords, but they're good, solid songs that are very memorable. So, you know, less is more. I always say that. It's okay to put something out that's only got a few chords in it. How we doing? Good, we got plenty of time. Number one, the big thing is behaviors. Musicians get caught up in a lot of things, and I wouldn't recommend you watch it because it's really pretty vile. But the movie that came out years ago called Rockstar really showed a lot of this. They, there's preconceived notion that musicians are drug addicted alcoholics who can't control their sexual appetites, and so they get caught up in all kinds of things, But what happens is it leads them to sickness, fatigue, death. It leads them to depression, anxiety. They can't think straight. They can't play their songs right, which gets them fired eventually. There's just so many things that, you really don't need to get caught up in. And if you don't start them, then they won't go any farther. So I say, if you haven't gotten an alcohol, a drug, or a sexual depraved appetite thing going on, don't start it, because it just will end in your destruction. I've known many musicians who go to bed early, and they have a family, and they do good by them, and they're not out there doing all these things that people say you have to do to be a quote-unquote rock star. So, a lot of the stuff we can minimize for ourselves and save ourselves a lot of things in the long run. This will keep us, these 5 things, if you pay attention to these, will keep us from self-destruction, so that we can last longer in the business and do more and go farther. And then, by not doing the destructive things, we bring a good name to ourselves, and that gets around more sometimes than the music. Somebody might want to jam with you just because they heard you were really cool, and you bring a good attitude and character to the scene. So, just watch what you're doing and saying, even online. Even the little things that you think are little could really be cost effective, or destructive. So these are the 5 things, and I recommend, if you have more, please definitely put them in the comments below. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Share any of these videos that you like. I'm hoping to grow my audience. I'm sticking this thing out this time. You saw my video a few videos ago about quitting, which I did in the past because, if things didn't get moving, but I'm getting there. Things are picking up a little bit, but I can't do it without you guys. So subscribe, help me to get to 1,000. Go through my other playlists too if you're interested. I started one called Bass Playthroughs, where we're up to like 55 songs, 54. So check those out. Check out if you're into the faith and Christianity. I've got videos where I do some teaching on that stuff. But definitely check out my videos, share, like these if you like them, and click subscribe and the bell so that you know when I'm on. I want to leave you now, and I'll be back in a little while with a bass playthrough for today. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of the weekend.